Ọba Ìwẹ̀rẹ̀, Ọba Atuwatse III, Ọba Olu ti Warri, Ọba Ìwẹ̀rẹ̀, Ọba Ìwẹ̀rẹ̀, Ọba Atuwatse III, Ọba Olu ti Warri, Ọba Onitobiroye.
Before we begin, we want to acknowledge that we are gathering here today on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and before them the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee-Huron and Wendat. We also acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and other global Indigenous people that now call Brampton their home. We are honored to live, work, and enjoy this land. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our guest here today, His Imperial Majesty, His Majesty's Queen, the Nigerian High Commission, elected members of the Nigerian delegation. We also have from the City of Brampton, I see we have Councillor Jeff Bowman, give us a wave. We have our CAO, Paul Morrison, and members of the senior city staff here today. So thank you all for being here. I'm honored to welcome you to the City of Brampton. Our city has seen incredible growth and expansion these past few years, becoming Canada's 9th largest city and the fastest growing of Canada's 25 largest cities. Our residents hail from 200 different cultures, speak over 115 different languages. As a city, we pride ourselves on celebrating the diversity and multiculturalism that makes Brampton unique. We have been focused on community safety, improving mental health supports, encouraging active and healthy lifestyles, and revitalizing our natural spaces. We are thrilled to welcome His Majesty to Brampton today. The youngest Olu in over 500 years, His Imperial Majesty is known not only for his strong leadership in the business world, but also for the people in the Warri Kingdom. As a leader, His Majesty believes in dialogue as a way forward, in conflict resolution, and engaging with the community. He is a firm believer in implementing infrastructure development, building trust between communities and companies, and providing opportunities for Nigerian-based organizations and contractors. As Mayor of Brampton, these same pillars ring true for me. And I want to add in, I've had the chance now to visit Nigeria twice. The first time was in 2007 as a representative of the Government of Canada at the Commonwealth in Abuja, and just before COVID, 3 years ago with City Councillor Charmaine Williams, I went to Lagos and Ife, and you can't go to Nigeria and not fall in love with it. There's something about Nigeria that is so special, and I was blown away by the incredible growth we're seeing in Nigeria. Everything from the tech sector that is becoming the envy of the world, to Nollywood, just to a sense of entrepreneurialism that appears to be contagious. And I feel so privileged that here in Brampton we have this dynamic Nigerian-Canadian community. I see some of the community pillars here today. I see Kin, I see Idris, I see so many members of our community that are throwing their heart into Canada. One of the beautiful things about Canada is that there's no contradiction in being a proud Canadian, but at the same time proud of your ancestry and your heritage. And that's one of the beautiful things about Canada. And I'm so impressed that we've got this Nigerian community in our city that never forgets about their roots in Nigeria, that never forgets about their beautiful history. And I have to say, every month I learn of an example of a Nigerian success story in our community.
Thank you.
And it's beautiful. So I'm going to share you one example. In Brampton, there's a bakery, Wales Bakery. Anyone been to Wales Bakery?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I went there for the opening. They're expanding in Windsor and Edmonton, across Canada. And literally, they started out with one employee. And now they're a major company with businesses across Canada. And it all started out with a Nigerian family coming to Brampton and saying, I want to build a business here. I'm determined. I have a vision. And what a gift that is to Canada to have that type of drive. And I should note, Your Majesty, that I had never had traditional Nigerian bread before, and they gave me a loaf, and I took it home. And my son loves to have toast every morning. And ever since I went to that opening, every day he's insisted that he only has bread from the Wales Bakery. So I have to go back regularly. And as a father, I can't say no to my 3-year-old son. So it is part of our family's menu now. I'm also proud that in the city of Brampton, we've set up an economic development desk focused on the Caribbean and Africa. That's something unique to big cities. And Erica Henry Jackman is doing phenomenal work for the city of Brampton, focusing in an area that a lot of big cities haven't focused. And I see Erica's here, so I'll give her a shout out. And thank you, Claire Barnett, for supporting her efforts. Claire is our Economic Development Director. His Imperial Majesty is a strong proponent that a leader must lead by example and put its people first, advocating not only for the advancement of the community, but also equality for all. I also understand that you have a strong love for swimming, kayaking, basketball, American football, and soccer. And so you should know that there's something in the water in Brampton with soccer. So half of Canada's national team that just qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 40 years, half of the national team come from this city. Maybe it's Wales bread, maybe it's Brampton water, but something is creating phenomenal soccer players, and I would note that 3 of the gold medal winning members of the national women's team in Brampton for soccer, the national gold medal winning Canadian team actually come from Brampton too. We just recently named 2 fields after their accomplishments, and so maybe on another occasion we can talk to you about our soccer history. I'd also like to welcome His Majesty Queen and Olu of Atuwatse III, known as a visionary with a heart for humanity, social enterprise, education, and advocate for women and children. Not only is Her Imperial Majesty a qualified lawyer with a strong business acumen, she also has a strong entrepreneurial drive and has founded several businesses across industries. Incredibly generous, her initiatives range from alleviating poverty, illiteracy, and infant mortality to provide free health care and education for children in the remotest parts of the kingdom. A fierce advocate for children, Her Majesty has dedicated her time to providing all children with access to education, but also to opportunities. I want to thank you for being here, and His Majesty is showing real friendship to our city. And I think part of that friendship and love is he sees the community. And despite the fact that the community may be a little bit of a distance from Nigeria, His Majesty never loses sight over where the Nigerian community goes. And this may not be known, but His Majesty, as part of his visit, is showing a lot of love to our community. I was asked by His Majesty's team before his visit, is there a local cause that we can support in our city? And for me, what became most abundant as a recommendation was our hospital. You know, Brampton has struggled being an underserviced community, and we're attempting to build a hospital with an enormous price tag of over $1 billion, of which a quarter comes from the collection of the community and the city. And in a city like Brampton, we need to have the best possible health care. We know there are challenges in our healthcare system. We've heard stories of hallway healthcare. And as part of his visit, His Majesty has made a substantial contribution to the Osler Foundation, our local hospital. So can we just acknowledge? So in honor of that friendship for our hospital and our city, I have a token of our city's friendship and appreciation. His Majesty's father was awarded a key to the city in the U.S. For their incredible generosity. So in keeping with that history of the family, it is my pleasure today to present the City of Brampton's key to honor your friendship to our city. refugees. It's one thing to come and visit a city and visit relatives and friends abroad. It's another thing to come to a city and say, how can I help? How can I be so supportive? How can I show love? And for me,
Yeah, morning.
I'm not sure how to express this, but first of all, thank you. Thank you for the honor. Thank you to the city of Brampton for this warm reception, for this recognition. Really appreciate it. I was having a good chat with the mayor on the way in, and he's really proud of the positive contributions from the Nigerian community in Brampton. And for me, that's what gives me joy. I always fancy myself a diplomat of sorts. And I believe it's important that we always represent home well. It's very, very important that we are the best ambassadors we can be. And I am confident that Nigerians will be celebrated much more in the city of Brampton and Canada generally going forward. We are great people, very hardworking people, very creative, and always looking to pull our weight. And honestly, I'm still overwhelmed, really, when you really look at the big picture and how things are going. But I'm very excited for the future. I'm excited for the future of our people, Shekiri people. I'm excited for the future of Nigerians. And I believe that this symbolic gesture really will open more doors. It will open more doors to every single one of us. Yes. So, on behalf of myself, on behalf of the Shekiri Nation, on behalf of Nigerians, I say thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, God.